In a world with only hot takes,
Two college friends try to cool down sports media.
join Jack and Jared every week as they tackle the biggest stories in the NFL.
And give the reasonable football analysis you won't hear anywhere else.
Welcome to 710 Sports.
Welcome back to episode 18 of 710 Sports with
Jack
and Jared. Thank you for joining us after week 9 of the NFL season. We're back to talk to you about all the biggest storylines of the week, as well as bring you our mid-season playoff and Super Bowl picks and our look ahead for week 10. Hello, Jack. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Definitely an interesting week. Forgot to redo my picks because I forgot what my old picks are, so I'll be doing those on the fly.
Hey, don't worry. I've got your old picks.
Thinking, yeah, and that's why I said that because I know you have them. I know you have them ready, and I'd already put some thought to this anyway. So, but nothing official. Just want to warn the audience. Potentially skip by anytime I talk during that segment. Focus on. No, I'm just joking.
He's giving you it straight, audience.
I'm not.
He doesn't have good picks.
I'm a straight shooter. Okay, I probably called the Saints. I guarantee I said Saints in the playoff picture. So
you did, but don't worry, I did as well. We'll get into that.
We'll get into that.
But that's just because you were preparing so much for your week 9 storyline sort of analysis and that type of thing that you weren't going to go back to episode 2 or 3 if you want to listen to our entire picks. Episode 2 and 3 of the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts is where you can find that. Yeah. So
even has them, even knows the episode. There you go. Well, yep. I mean, I guess any general takeaways we have, or do you want to kind of just get into some of the storylines we were going to highlight? I'm trying to think.
Yeah. I think we should just jump right in. I mean, it's a wild weekend.
Yeah.
So I'll start with the Bills game. Obviously, Bills lose their second game of the season to the Jets. They lose 20-17, and now they have the same record as Kansas City in the AFC, and they're tied at the top of the AFC at 6-2. They actually hold the tiebreaker against Kansas City
because they won. Yeah,
because they won head to head. Any thoughts on the Bills Jets game, Jack?
I mean, for one, the biggest takeaway for me was Josh Allen not looking as good. I mean, passing offense wise, he still ran for a bunch. He was still by far their leading rusher, of course, but 205 yards, no passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and it's a good defense. He ended up running for 2 touchdowns. That's how they end up getting to 17 points. And just defense is good, but still, the 2 picks, not a ton of passing yards, not super good. And I know also slight note, I think he also tweaked his elbow or something, so he might be out for next week. That's something we'll probably touch on later. But either way, not an amazing game for him. I think after the game, he did say this is what happens when your quarterback plays like blank. He kind of admitted
like
he was very
right.
Yeah, like crap. Yeah, he was very very willing to admit. I believe something I saw in the posting that that like a big part of that loss was on him not playing as up to potential. Jets. The fact that the Jets won another game. Generally, I think pretty big. No, but I say that half jokingly, but this is a big win because they're playing such a good team, and this is post some of those injuries. Some of those injuries a couple of weeks. The reason I put the Jets lower than I may have wanted to, et cetera. Like, pretty. I mean, the fact for them to win a game like this with the players who are hurt is a pretty good sign. I would say that may not mean as much as I thought it would. Your thoughts?
Yeah. My thoughts are let's not, I think let's generally just not overreact to the game because
where do you think we are?
I know, right?
No, I'm just joking.
So yes, you're right. Josh Allen didn't look good, but it was really this combination of events that occurred. Josh Allen playing poorly, throwing some bad picks. He didn't play poorly. He just made some bad decisions.
Yeah.
He had a couple of bad picks. I think he had like a fumble. I don't know if he lost it. But the other thing is that the Jets were playing super, super aggressive. I'm talking go for it on 4th down. I'm talking fake punt type of stuff. And
I saw that.
this is what happens when you are the Super Bowl favorites going into the season. Every team is going to say, hey, we're going to play you like this is our Super Bowl because you're supposed to be the best team in the league. And what ends up happening is, you start playing super aggressive, you start taking more chances, and sometimes that leads to, you're on fourth down, you're in the middle of the field, instead of punting, you go for it, and then you don't get it, and now the Bills have it at the 50-yard line, and they go get a touchdown. Then you try a fake punt, and it doesn't work, and now the Bills have it at the 40, at your 40, and now they can go get another touchdown. That didn't happen this time. The Jets were able to capitalize.
Those coin flips kind of work, or coin flips might be the wrong word, but like those sort of risks, the risks paid off.
Exactly.
And they may not always, but they did here. Yeah.
Exactly. And so now the Jets basically were able to stay in it, just enough to stay in it and win it at the end. And so, I mean, you got to give the secondary of the Jets credit because they were given opportunities to take the ball away. And they did. And also they just played really good, not even when they just took the ball away. But Sauce Gardner, it feels like every single week, Sauce Gardner he's the last play of the game, and he's got to make a play, and he does. And he defends a pass. Yeah, so got to give him his credit.
Interception.
Only other thing I have from this game, Von Miller. He was wrecking the game, really. I mean, he had in the fourth quarter, I think the third or fourth quarter, he had a strip sack, with a fumble recovery, I believe. I mean, he is big for Buffalo. He really is.
Yes. He definitely is. All season, I felt like I wasn't as huge on it. I hadn't watched as much of the Rams. Wasn't paying as much attention to his effects. It was blah, blah, blah. But like everything I've seen of him this season has looked good. Or maybe that might be a strong way to phrase it. But I feel like every game I see of the Bills, I see him make multiple big plays.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So then on the other side of it, the other front runner here in the AFC.
Sunday Night Football.
Kansas City is in an absolute dogfight against the Titans. It comes down to the very last second. In fact, it comes down to overtime. And basically they're tied 17-17. They go into overtime. Kansas City gets the ball. And even at that point, after the whole game, the Titans held Kansas City to 17 points. They basically just played really good defense with no quarterback, and they were able to hold Kansas City to 17. And then they even held them. They bent all the way to the goal line and didn't break so that they didn't lose, so that Kansas City kicks a field goal on the first possession of overtime. And then the Titans obviously get the ball back. And I think what's his name?
Malik Willis.
Malik Willis is in because Malik Willis is in because Tannehill's hurt. Yeah, he had 5 completions in the entire game, and he took 2 terrible sacks to end the game, basically on 3rd and 4th down, or 2nd and 3rd. I don't know. It was ugly. I think it was 2nd and 3rd. He ends up being at for the game 4th and 40. But something like that.
I don't know what it was, but something.
And so I don't know. It's just, I'll tell you what. Yeah. Last week I said Titans have absolutely no chance. Like, their wins are against bad teams. They're not a good team. I said that. I was like, they're going to get blown out. And you know what? Maybe defense running the ball.
I think
they're not a bad team.
I think it, with Ryan Tannehill. This is a bold thing to say. This is not bold, but it feels just kind of weird to say. With Ryan Tannehill in, they win this game. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Malik Willis was 5 for 18. No, 5 for 16. I think it was 5 for 16. I think Tannehill. Yes, I mean he, especially in that playoff. Like, Tannehill feels like he was having a bit of a Wentz syndrome at the end of last year. I remember in that playoff game where he's kind of just throwing picks at the worst times and stuff. Yeah. But like, generally he's an average quarterback, right? Generally he's about average. And I think with average quarterback play, I think the Titans win this game. They made the Chiefs, they made Patrick Mahomes throw almost 70 times for 20 points. The Chiefs had 0. Their biggest running. I mean, Patrick Mahomes personally had 500 yards. That's a lot of yards, but did not get a lot of points. Patrick Mahomes was the leading rusher by 60 yards. He had 63. And then they had a couple running backs who all averaged 1 yard a carry, 1.5, 1.2 3, that sort of thing. They could get nothing on the ground, and all those yards were not converting into points. I don't know that's bend don't break, whatever exactly it was.
Yeah, but pretty much. I mean, that's really what it was.
The Titans defense was definitely playing very, very well.
100%. It really does. Henry, although I agree, it feels weird to say if they had Tannehill, but the fact of the matter is, Derrick Henry had, I think, 80 or 90 yards in the first half, 2 tuds. And and you said to yourself, oh my goodness, if this continues, he's going to have another 200-yard game against the Chiefs, and the Titans are going to pull us out. But that's the thing. I don't know what happened when Kansas City decided, we're going to put 11 guys in the box, and then basically we're going to dare Malik Willis to throw the ball, which he won't. Because he has 5 completions, and that was basically it. No run game, no pass game.
I mean, Henry only got 17 touches. I think last week, like most weeks, I think he gets around 30 or so. So it's interesting that even in an overtime game, he did not hit 20 touches.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense because they're almost sure they're a playoff. They're almost guaranteed in that division. They're almost guaranteed to be a playoff team. I think there probably is an extent like, hey, what's cooler than beating the Chiefs in the regular season? Winning a playoff game. Make sure maybe like this is definitely speculation, but
I think some of it too is just that by the second half, Kansas City was filling the box. So it's like, what are we going to have Derrick Henry run straight into legitimately 11 dudes? Like, exactly. It's like, you got to try to like make Malik Willis throw the ball. And if he takes a sack, he might run, so that's kind of, I don't know. It was a weird game for sure. It was a weird game, but you know what? Kansas City 6-2, and now tied with Buffalo at the top of the AFC. So
I think bad win. I think for Kansas City would be one way to put it. I think a win's a win, and it's a team with a good record. It just I would have wanted more from them. I guess is all I would say. Mm-hmm. For that when we're talking the way we talked in the pin setter, and many people talk about that kind of top echelon, that it's so clear who the top 3 teams are. It's more, in that sort of expectations versus what happened.
100%. But I do think that is people, like for us, or at least for me, it was, I don't believe in the Titans, and I think that the Titans showed they're a little bit better than maybe.
Yeah, that's true too.
I would have thought. Yeah. So
I would say that.
All right, so Bucks bounce back. And get a very last second win at the 4:00 hour against the Rams. Basically,
I saw part of that.
Weird, super, super weird game. The Bucks had multiple chances in the fourth quarter, and they kept failing. And then the Rams essentially would get the ball, run 3 plays, and punt it back to them to try again. And that was basically the fourth quarter.
If you don't like that, you don't like Rams football.
Yeah. And the thing about this game to me was Jalen Ramsey came out and said, it feels like every week, like everyone's like, why can't the defense get a stop? And I'm wondering, why can't the offense score a point or run the ball in the fourth quarter with the lead? And I think it's true. I really do.
Toxic. I mean, it's true. It's true. It's kind of toxic, but it's 100% true.
It's toxic. They were saying on the broadcast that in the fourth quarter this year, don't cite me, but I think in the fourth quarter this year, Stafford has 1 TD, 5 interceptions. What are we doing?
Hey,
what are we doing?
It ain't easy. They had 56 yards rushing. How much offense? They had 206 total yards of offense. The Rams. Staffy was 13 for 27, 165 yards and a touchdown. And they had a running back. Where is this? Actually, frankly, average 4.7 yards a carry.
Henderson.
Yeah, Henderson was 12 carries, 56 yards. Good. That's pretty good. I'm surprised they didn't run with him more. Maybe it just wasn't working, like down wise. It was unfortunate, or like how much yards left, something. But that's just the thing with the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams were so bad. The Bucks also so bad. The fact that they needed this last second. I'm talking like, I think they scored with 9 seconds left or 13 seconds left or something crazy. They had at another point in the fourth quarter with about 2 or 3 minutes left.
I think I saw that. Then I turned it off after the Scotty Miller drop, and then like 2 more passes that didn't work. I remember I wrote that down because I remember taking that notes. Big Scotty Miller drop literally bounced off his face. Yes. That's what I said. That's what I said about that when I was taking notes. But that, and then like into another incomplete or two. But then like, and at that point I turned it off. I was like, there's no way the Rams lose this game. I'm gonna go get some food or something. Like,
right.
And then they lost. But like, I was like, no way they give the Bucs another chance.
Immediately after that, they ran 3 plays. I think they got 8 yards. They punted to the Bucs with 40 seconds left. Bucs no timeouts, and that's all she wrote. In another mediocre, terrible game against 2 bad teams, the Packers lose 9-15.
This could be its own episode. This could be its own episode.
I know. It's just we've talked
Rodgers
a lot about the
Packers
picks. And the Bucs. I mean, it was ugly.
Yeah. It was just ugly. No, I don't want to dwell on this one too long for any of our sakes. But They scored 9 points against probably the worst defense in football. They were on pace for the first 5-6 weeks. There was a point they were on pace like to be the worst defense of all time, sort of level. They were an impressively bad defense, and the Packers put up 9 points on them. And part of that's like not when I'm going to say unlucky, not unlucky like the sense that there wasn't something they could have done right, but turnovers and stuff at very unfortunate times. A lot of red zone interceptions. I think there were at least 2 red zone interceptions that Rodgers
and
threw.
Another one like on the goal line from like the 40-yard line.
Yeah, and that is just a bit suboptimal. It's a bit suboptimal, and out of Rodgers as well, right? I mean, some of the weeks it had kind of been like, how much can we say like, oh, this is like Rodgers versus the team versus this, that, and the other thing. And there is, I'm sure, still play calling. I'm sure there's a variety of issues, but I think this game and some of the things we saw this game, I think really make it hard to say Rodgers isn't part of the problem, right? I would say, I know there's some people have been hesitant pointing to the terrible wide receiver room, suboptimal O-line play, so on, play call. But I think it's hard, like with 3 picks and it's such 2 of them being like goal line sort of picks are not what you want to see.
100% agree with you. I mean, the one was at the end of the game. He's trying to squeeze it into the middle of the field into tight coverage. It was picked. It was a good play by the defender. The first one throws it directly at a lineman's head, and it bounced off his helmet into the air, into the end zone.
And then Aiden Hutchinson, I think, like grasps it out of the air.
Yeah, well, so that was the second one.
It's a little stat. Oh, was that the second one?
Yeah, the second one was wide open. I think Bakhtiari is in the end zone wide open. He's like eligible receiver, but he's a lineman. It's that play. Wide open, and Aaron Rodgers just like misses him by like 5 yards, and Aiden Hutchinson is just like jumps in the air and takes it. And that was the
that was the hit.
It was just weird. Aaron Rodgers just not looking good at all.
Yeah. That's my number 1 quarterback.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, there
you go. Hey,
that take is just of all it takes.
Aging.
I mean, lots of takes are aging poorly. That one is
it's aging better and better. Well, let's move on.
Let's move over to a.
I don't want to.
A different type of segment here.
Still another devastating situation, but
yes, devastating, but sure is interesting what's happening here. I'm going to lay out sort of chronologically what has happened here, and then Jack, I'm going to let you go ahead and talk about.
I'm going to riff.
Sort of what you think about the recent events of this week. Now we're going to be talking about basically the Colts head coaching situation. In fact, their entire situation. And then I have plenty of thoughts on this that I can bounce off you. But so basically, let's take you back. It was after week 7, I believe. The Colts are 3-1. They're at 500 with the one tie there. And I think they had beaten Kansas City. They literally had beaten Kansas City, who's maybe the best team in the league.
Yeah.
And Matt Ryan is playing he's maybe the worst quarterback in the league. Like statistically, he's still at this time has the most interceptions, and he hasn't played in a couple of weeks. He's got 11 interceptions on the season, multiple fumbles, or maybe it was fumbles. I don't know. He's got a lot of he's got the most turnovers. Anyway, they're paying him millions of dollars. They traded for him in the offseason. 7 games in at 500, mind you. The franchise says, the Colts say, you know what? We're benching him. He might be hurt. He might not be. We don't care. He's benched. He is the third string QB. Nick Foles is the backup, and we're putting in the rookie or the second year guy who's never played, Sam Ehlinger. So that happens, and we talked about this. We're like, what the hell's going on? What is that about? Because they're at 500, right? Next week, they lose. Next week, offensive coordinator fired. All right. Guy playing offensive coordinator running the offense, forget about it. He's out of town.
And interestingly, I don't think he was calling the plays. I think Frank Reich was still calling the plays. But he still got fired. But yes,
yeah, so they fire that guy, right? A week before they fire Frank Reich. So then they lose again. They get blown out by the Patriots. Basically, did they score?
The Patriots.
Did they score a field goal? Or I don't even remember. Was it 29?
I think they did. No, they did because it was like that game. It was 26-3. I think 14 of those points came off a pick six. And like with defensive points, or they blocked a punt and got it to like the 2-yard line. So the Patriots, that was more like a 12-3 sort of game, like in terms of how good the Patriots are. But like the end score was 26-3. Yeah,
right. And so they basically just by the end score, they're making the Patriots look like a playoff team. And
most sacks in franchise history, I believe. I believe it was the most sacks in franchise history
in one game
for the Patriots. In one game,
really?
I think so. I think it was. But.
Wow. It's an absolute mess because everything is falling apart. You said the guy you brought in 7 weeks in, you decided, that guy's not the guy, the QB. We're going to take him out. Offensive coordinator, forget about that. And now, after all of this, we're finally, after 5 years, going to fire the head coach. So now all of a sudden, after week 9, they're 3-5-1. Really, they're out of it because we've been watching them play. The fact that they were at 500 7 games in is just ridiculous. But now they fire Frank Reich, and then within a 5-hour period, they announce we fired Frank Reich and we are hiring Jeff Saturday. Okay, now Jeff Saturday is, for people who don't know this, Jeff Saturday is an ESPN analyst. Okay, so he does what we do, Jack, just better. Okay. he is a pundit on TV. He is a former NFL player. He played for the Colts for 10 years during the Peyton Manning era. They won a Super Bowl, and he has been a consultant to the team. I guess this year, where I don't know what that means, but he's been a outside consultant, which I feel like I don't know if there's a conflict of interest there with working at ESPN. But anyway, this guy basically is now named the coach of the head coach of the Colts, just completely out of the blue. So with all that set up, Jack, what do you think about this situation?
What I think they are. One second. This is. I have to wait, but it's going to be worth it. And I have to wait because I have to make sure I'm pronouncing this correctly. I believe the Indianapolis Colts are tanking for Victor Wembanyama, the NBA prospect. They need the top lottery pick to restart their franchise. No, the tank. I was about to say the tanks. The Colts. I think this is a tank move. I think I said it last week with taking out Matt Ryan. I've said it one or two weeks actually, I think. But that Matt Ryan is gonna win you too many games. All right, it's gonna like not too many to make the playoffs or to be an actually good team, but he's gonna squeeze out a game or two. Put in Ellinger, blah blah. I've talked on that before. I think this is another. I mean, I think starting Jeff Saturday, it lets you. Maybe it lets you they looked at, say, the Raiders. At the Raiders, they had a really good last season. They had a really good interim head coach. They made the playoffs and everything after Gruden, the Gruden situation. I think something I saw, it's not original by me. I saw an interesting analysis saying maybe they take literal Bozo. He's going to go out there. He's going to run this into the ground. They're going to lose every game. Why is this guy a head coach? But then, because of that, no one wants him to come back. You don't have to deal. You can go out and play the Sean Payton sweepstakes. Do whatever. Find whatever other head coach. hope that Josh McDaniels goes back to the Colts. No, but whatever thing, do whatever thing you want to do, whatever your long-term solution is, put that into place later. And then you don't have to put that person in a really strange situation now. Maybe you want to get a coach you can't get until later. Put someone in, let him sit, let him tank, let him get you a franchise quarterback. Let him get you Andrew Luck 2.0, you know, by tanking for draft picks. You already have 3 wins. You have to catch up in that loss count. You have 3 wins on the side. You have to catch up in the loss count. Tank, and then try to make it as wide open for someone like a Sean Payton as possible. Could be one potential thing. You have no fans angry at you, like at you being, if you were Sean Payton, you have a high draft pick that you are going to get your choice of, so on and so forth. I think that sort of thing. Potentially. Or they're just crazy. I'll let you, I know you have more.
Yeah,
more to say which it is.
I went to you first because basically you had said this before, and there's basically 2 things that could be happening here. And the most reasonable thing is that they are tanking, because this hire, like, it's not just this hire. It's the like you said, the Matt Ryan being pulled because he's going to win too many games for you. Not enough, but too many, like you said. Perfect analysis there. Then the OC gets fired before Frank Reich, but Frank Reich is the one calling plays. What's going on now, yes, Frank Reich? Yeah. Like, is it just because you didn't have that, like, that the guy, like basically the sheep? You didn't have Jeff Saturday yet, so you were like, "Oh, we'll keep Frank Reich until we find some dummy to take this job." Yeah, nah. You know, right? So like, but if that's the case, I'm not sure. But like, is this even allowed? This is essentially, if this is the case, this is Irsay coming out and saying, we are tanking. This is full face. We hired a guy from ESPN. We straight up, Irsay said. He's been watching Thursday Night Football. He was like, listen, I'm seeing Sherman. I'm seeing Whitworth. I see Fitzpatrick. I see all these NFL players going and being pundits on TV. Why don't we take a pundit and make him a coach? How about that? And then we'll take the coaches and we'll make them players. I don't care. He does not care, right? So can the league come in and say, like, for competitiveness, like, what are you doing? Like, you're literally pulling your starting QB. You're firing your coach 7 games in. I mean, why didn't they fire him before? It's not like it's been like, oh, they brought him in and he was so bad. He was Urban Meyer bad that they had to fire him 7 games in. This guy's been
Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, this guy's been in the building for 5 years, and now you fire
and you give him a mid-season fire. It's not even he's been there, your head coach, for 5 years. You've already fired the offensive coordinator. And then, I don't know. I think I saw something like that. Nate Silver and the NBA. Is that right? Is that Nate Silver? Adam Silver. Yeah. I'm thinking. Nate Silver is, I think, the 538 guy. There you go. I knew it was something Silver. But he. I think he said like they were going to be on the lookout for teams doing weird stuff to tank for Wembanyama. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But
hey, it's basically a football podcast. Don't worry about it.
I know. I no, but that I'm hoping. I would be not hoping, but it would be interesting to see. Yeah, if they just keep a close eye, right? Because that was something Brian Flores was potentially saying. Oh, Dolphins were telling me to tank. Yeah. I think there's something in the opposite, so I could see them wanting to take this seriously, and that would be interesting if they take it seriously, right? If they look into it.
Yeah, the Dolphins got in trouble for tampering, not for tanking, but it seemed pretty clear that.
But there was a side controversy, but I think it wasn't the tampering that evidenced the Dolphins lost their first round pick. I think the other thing was more like a he said, she said sort of situation.
Yeah, basically the Miami Dolphins owner was like, "Yeah, I said we should tank for picks, but it was a joke." And like that's literally that was his defense. And Flores was like, "It didn't feel like a joke to me." And that's basically what happened. And when
your boss is telling you something, we should really do this. Ha ha.
And whereas Irsay is just like saying, "Forget about it. He's just saying openly, this is my guy. It makes no sense.
Give me Jeff Saturday. Aliens have the ray beams pointed at Earth, have the death beams pointed at Earth. You have one coach to turn this season around with all the all-pro level talent you have. I want Jeff Saturday. That's
just now. The only other thing is, I said there's two things that could happen here. That could be happening here. The other thing is, Irsay has gone full Jerry Jones. Okay, he's gone full on. I want everyone to be puppets, and I am the puppet master. And I think that this could be true because if you look, why would Frank Reich have been there for so long? When basically, I understand, like you said, the way you were defending it, saying, well, they had a QB carousel, they can't have the QB and coach carousel. But I feel like he could have stayed for as long as he did because basically it was like Jim Irsay would bring in Frank Reich and say, I like that kid, Carson Wentz. I think he's got talent. You should bring him in. And Irsay said,
Wentz.
All right, well, or Phillip Rivers. Oh, we'll go get Phillip Rivers. Frank Reich says, sure, we can get him. Oh, we can get Wentz. Oh, you want Matt Ryan? Whatever. Irsay says, we got to go get Matt Ryan. He's an astronaut. He's whatever. And then he goes and gets him, and Frank Reich's just along for the ride. Yeah. And that's what we've had for years in Dallas. That's exactly what we've had. Basically, head coaches that are, hey, if Jerry says jump, coaches say how high. You know what I mean? And so
that's an interesting point.
This could be what's happening, where it's like, yes, Irsay has gone completely crazy and is just like, you know who I like? I like Jeff Saturday. I know he'll do exactly what I tell him because he has literally no experience. And I think this is something that we should highlight, that I didn't get into this at the top, and maybe I should have. But Jeff Saturday, like he's an ESPN analyst, but he's literally never coached in the NFL at all, any position. He's never coached college at all, any position. He has only coached.
He was high school.
In high school. Yeah, he coached a high school team in Georgia. That's the only coaching experience he has. And the press conference, I got to talk about some of this because this is crazy when I do this. I'm sorry. Listen, the fans of the podcast are saying, why are they talking so long? This is ridiculous. You got to listen to, they have a joint press conference last night. Jim Irsay and Jeff Saturday and Chris Ballard, the GM, they're all there. And Irsay comes out and says, hey, we know that this might be an unconventional hire. And essentially, I'm paraphrasing here. He essentially says, but this guy has all the skills, all the leadership skills and the experience. He is a leader of men, and he is fully capable to do this job. Jeff Saturday agrees, basically is saying, like, yes, like I'm capable to do this job. Like, I have faith that I can be a leader to this team and I can basically be successful. I have all the tools, type of a thing. Fine and dandy, right? Literally, literally right after that, I got the exact quotes. They literally contradict themselves. Irsay's, first of all, I'm going to go with Jeff Saturday says straight up, this is a quote. I have no preconceived notion that I'm going to be some spectacular anything. I know I got to work hard. So basically he says, I have no preconceived idea of what I'm going to be. I could be anything. I could be bad. I could be good, whatever. And that was just a weird thing to say, but that seems like, whatever. But then Irsay just goes on his crazy stuff. Yeah. I mean, he says,
oh, is he,
he says about Jeff Saturday, direct quote, I'm glad he doesn't have any NFL experience. I'm glad he hasn't learned the fear that's in this league. It's tough for our coaches. They're afraid. They go to analytics.
This is you know what? You're making me like this hire.
He doesn't have
to say.
He doesn't have all that. He doesn't have that fear. That's what Irsay says. Irsay straight up says, I'm glad he doesn't have any NFL experience.
He's got that dog in him, Jared. You just don't get it. You just don't get it. He has no fear. He's fearless.
Dan Campbell was a bad hire. That guy at least was like a tight ends coach.
You thought Dan Campbell was a bit of a hoorah, what is it, rah-rah sort of hire. This guy, This guy's zero coach. This guy's there just to get people pumped.
The press conference is absolutely wild. One breath they're saying he's got all the experience and he's fully capable. The next time saying, am I going to be good? I don't know. Look, he has no NFL experience coaching.
He has no experience, and that's a good thing. You should. Hey, other teams in the league, you guys should try hiring coaches with no experience. That's this
one trick NFL owners don't know. And the only other thing I gotta say is, you say, okay, well, you know what? Maybe we don't know something. We don't know something about, there's not a guy who basically, and I think Irsay said this in the press conference. He said, we're glad that Jeff was available because we didn't have anyone else. That's literally what he said. And he said that. Meanwhile, okay, so you've got, I'm just going to go through some of these guys. You've got special teams coordinator, 8 years of coaching experience. Linebacker coach, 44 years of coaching experience in the NFL. Offensive line coach, 34 years of coaching experience. Running back coach, 17 years. QB coach, 19 years of coaching experience. That's not even the kicker. Those are just guys, right? Maybe they're not head coach guys. If you've been in the league for 44 years and you haven't been a head coach, you're probably not that guy. Ready?
Yeah.
Gus Bradley, defensive coordinator, 33 years of coaching experience, was a head coach in Jacksonville for 4 years. Now, his record was absolutely abysmal. I mean, I'm talking should have been a head coach for 2 years. And then a year
but still a head coach.
But still a head coach. A year later after he left, the defense that he built went to the AFC Championship. This was the year where
it was that. I see.
All the way up before that, team was terrible. But then when he left, whatever. And okay, so you got that guy and senior defensive assistant. Now he just came in this year. John Fox, 40 years of NFL experience. He's a part of the coaching staff. He's only been there this year. Okay, but 40 years, and you know John Fox. Yeah, the John Fox was with Denver, head coaching Denver when Peyton Manning was there. Now, did he win a Super Bowl? No. John Fox.
That guy, yeah. I remember that.
John Fox was fired before. Basically, John Fox led them to their first Super Bowl where they got blown out by Seattle. And then I think Kubiak came in and won them the Super Bowl with Peyton. He also lost he also went to a Super Bowl with the Panthers, I think in 2003, and they lost to the Patriots. Yeah. You would know this.
Yeah, 32-29, close loss.
You got a guy who brought two teams as a head coach to the Super Bowl, lost twice. He's there. No,
we don't want him. You know why? You know why none of those guys? Because they're either too good, like potentially that John Fox, like they know how to do the job. And that's when I say too good, like John Fox, like the other guy you said in Jacksonville, whose name I forget. It could be like them, or like right, they might be too good, too many wins. The other guys, even if pick one of the other guys, what if the fans like them, right? What if people want them, And I could see that just you're the owner, you can do what you want anyway, like hire a new coach anyway, but you don't want the players and the fans and everything to rally behind someone, like maybe the Raiders rally behind, I forget his name. I don't know any names. Like maybe you want to avoid that. I don't know about that part. I think it really just is tanking. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's tanking because so I guess that they could rally behind Jeff Saturday. What if they go 500?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and you're in the same boat? I don't get it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. If they're tanking, this guy if anyone's not going to be able to put it together, it's an ESPN analyst with no coaching experience.
Okay.
I don't know. That's all my notes that I have. Really.
Anyway, on the entire podcast. No. Anyway, I believe you have our mid-season picks, or you have our preseason picks for the playoffs and everything. And we're going to make our mid-season picks. Do you have anything there pulled up, or is this?
I don't have anything pulled up. I just have notes here. So I'm just going to go through. The funny thing is, went back and listened to the episode. Both in the AFC and the NFC, we had picked the same 7 on both sides, just in a different formation. Yep. So we were really aligned. We weren't pushing each other back then, really. I mean, it's a couple episodes in. We were just feeling out what we were doing. Neither of us wanted to say. Hey, I mean, we both had the Saints in. So I'll just go through this. In the NFC, we both had in some combination.
Yeah, and in some order.
We had the Rams, the Packers, the Eagles, the Bucks, the Saints, the Cardinals, and the Vikings. That's who we had in the NFC.
We both took the Panthers.
Did I say the Panthers?
Did you? Or maybe not. Oh, the Packers, maybe?
Packers.
There. Because I think I heard you say Panthers, and I was
bad.
no way.
Once again, we had the Rams, Eagles, Packers, Saints, Bucks, Cardinals, Vikings. And basically, as we should have predicted, about half those are not even going to be. I mean, Rams, Packers, Saints, Cardinals, maybe even more than half.
Yeah, maybe more than half.
The Bucks might not get in. And so absolutely blown up. Forget about it. Terrible picks. Don't listen to us preseason. Absolute trash garbage. Both of us had that. You actually had the Saints winning the NFC South.
I remember this.
Yeah.
I remember this.
In terms of the AFC, we had the Bills, the Chiefs, the Colts, the Ravens, and then the Bengals, Chargers, Raiders. In that case, the Colts.
Not as much to change. Colts definitely.
Colts are obviously out, and then Raiders are terrible.
Yes,
Chargers and Bengals are on the fence. People will still take them, but the Bengals don't look super hot either. That was what we basically just picked our division winners and our wild card teams. We did not say who was going to championship games. We did not say Super Bowls.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Oh, we didn't know.
No, we didn't. Now I didn't say it on the podcast, but I took just for myself. I took.
Oh, I think
Bengals,
I remember
Packers.
that you did. Yeah.
I took Bengals, Packers. You didn't take it because you said I didn't do the research. I'm not taking a team. Yeah. So I took Bengals, Packers. That's looking real bad. Okay, so we're just getting out of all this, and we'll probably have the same exact picks for the playoffs this year. So I think what I want to do is kind of quickly get through our lists of the playoff teams we like, because this is easy now, right? I mean, you look at the division winners; it's pretty clear. Maybe. And then we can argue about maybe who we like and who we don't like at the bottom. And then we'll go to the who do we have? Let's actually stake a claim in the championship games and the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So do you want to start with your sort of picks now at the midseason?
I'll start now. Yeah, because I think first with the NFC, I think division winners. I think I'm going to count them off: Eagles, Seahawks, Vikings. I'm going to go Falcons.
Okay.
I could see maybe the Bucks. The Bucks Seahawks game in Germany, I think, will be pretty big this coming week. And maybe if they win that, I might change my mind on the Bucks, but I'm gonna go Falcons. So division winners: Eagles, Seahawks, Vikings, Falcons. So that being 4 playoff teams. I think the other playoff teams. I think the Cowboys are a playoff team. I think. I guess it could be that. I think Cowboys, Giants, 49ers. I think that's what do. I take the 49ers? I think Cowboys and Giants at this point. I think there are 3 NFC East playoff teams. Even now or whatever, they're still. Yeah, I think that 7th, like that last, whether they're the 7th seed or not, whatever seed it is, whatever the 7th team is, I'd have to think more. My gut leans 49ers, but I could see it being Bucks as well. I don't think it's any other team in the NFC North, even with the Bears have been whatever. Justin Fields looking pretty good. Don't think that. Don't think the Commanders get in. Don't think the Rams or Cardinals get in. Don't think the Saints or Panthers get in. So I think it's really, for me, down to 49ers, Bucks mentally. I'm going to take the 49ers, but
yeah,
I could see that going both ways.
That last spot, that 7th seed, is going to go to whoever can get over 500 because it's just that's.
Now, do you want to do your NFC picks and then we do it like that?
Yeah, definitely. So my picks are exactly the same. I am also a little bit cold on 49ers. And I have the Bucks instead of the Falcons. So they're not exactly the same. I don't trust the Falcons. I don't trust the Bucks either, but I trust them more. I trust them more. Yeah. As I've said many times, I refuse to leave Tom Brady's side. I will not bet against them.
When he needed you most.
Yes. So I will not bet against them. I've been making the mistake for years and years, and it has never worked out. So I'm going to say Bucks, and then I'm not so sure on the 49ers. I am sure on the Giants. I looked at their schedule. That they might not be as good as the rest of these teams in the playoffs, but their schedule is
Texans, Lions, Commanders twice. Colts.
What?
Yeah, they're enough freebies in there.
Like
they play the Eagles twice. Wins. They play the Vikings, but like they play the Cowboys again. They play the Vikings, play the Eagles twice. That's 4. I could see them having 6 losses then, but I could see them winning every other game and ending 11-7.
Yeah, I know 11-6. Giants. I think the Giants are gonna be like the 5th seed.
Strength of schedule at least. Yeah,
they're gonna be the top wild card. Because they really just got to beat Dallas. That's all. They really and I think that they will just by the schedule.
I see.
So, do you want to go through your AFC teams now?
Yeah. Let me just pull them up. I mean, I'm going to again division winners. I'm going to take the Titans with the AFC South. I mean, they looked okay, but mainly because it's the AFC South. I'm going to take the Titans. I'm going to take the Ravens. I'm going to take the Chiefs. And I'm going to take the Bills. I'm going to take the Bills to still win the division, tough loss, whatever. Not going to overreact. Take the Bills to win that. I think other teams that make the playoffs, I think the Bengals will make the playoffs. I think, I'd say that. I mean, I'd have to check their record. They had did they have a first place schedule?
Who's that?
The Bengals. The Bengals.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe they won the division.
I think they did. Yeah, I believe they did. Yeah. Yeah, because I think the Raiders were like the 7th seed or something. So yeah, Bengals. I'm gonna take the Bengals. Even with that, I know the record might be tricky, but I think even with that, I think I take the Bengals. I think I take the Dolphins. And with that last slot, there's some good teams there. I'd have to see. That's the thing. I should have done more research to check schedules because at this point, strength of schedule matters a lot. I'm gonna take. Jeez, I want to take the Patriots so badly, so badly. No, I'm not going to say. I think they've got a pretty hard schedule. Do I trust? I'm going to trust the process. I'm taking the Patriots. No. You almost got me. You almost got me. I almost slipped. I'm going to take the Chargers. I guess.
Oh no,
God! I don't want to take the Chargers. I'm going to take the Chargers. I mean. Because I don't want to take the Jets. I think they're 6-3, whatever. You know what? They beat the Bills. We'll take the Jets. Okay. Final answer. So going this over, final answer. Bills, Jets, Dolphins, Chiefs, Ravens, Titans, Bengals. Almost skipped one.
Okay.
I think that's
right.
3 AFC East teams right there. And 3 NFC East teams.
Yes.
There you go.
Hey, listen.
I have to get my final answer.
Okay, so I'm also like I'm very similar. I have those same division winners as you just listed. And then it's those wild card spots that are a toss up. Now, as I said, I had Bengals Packers in the Super Bowl, and I really don't want to give up I'm giving up the Packers, but I don't want to give up the Bengals pick. But guess what? You got to admit when you're wrong. The Bengals just somehow basically fell into the Super Bowl last year with no offensive line. And the reason I picked them was because they were supposed to be better there. And if they could just be better there, that's so important. If you look at Super Bowl winners and playoff teams, you say, what do they have? They often have really good offensive lines. It's almost a necessity. The fact that they were able to get to the Super Bowl without it is like, well, if you just give it to them, well, now they're still bad. Doesn't matter. I mean, I know they're saying, well, they've blown out some teams. Oh, they blow out the Falcons. I don't care if they blow out the Falcons. They've looked bad. Their O-line looks bad. Zach Tiller still, confuses me. Doesn't seem like he has command of the offense. Basically their offense is, can we take a deep shot and get easy TDs? So, and their schedule is ridiculous because it's a first place schedule.
I was about to, I just looked at that.
It's awful. So I'm out on them. I'm sorry, I'm out. Do I think that they can?
Even the Browns, because they get to play. Where did I pull this up? They get to play the Steelers, Titans. I mean, they lost the Steelers earlier this season. Titans may not be that easy of a win and might be a loss. After that, you have Chiefs, Browns with woman respecter Deshaun Watson back. His second game back. So not his first game. It's not like, it's the first game back after 2 years. Second game back. Then you have the Bucks, the Patriots, the Bills, the Ravens are just kind of hard. If the Bucks turn anything on, that becomes a very hard schedule.
Yeah, no, I think so. I'm out on Bengals, but I have Miami is definitely going to be Miami's definitely going to be the fifth seed. They are just, it's unbelievable how you can try to double Waddle and Tyreek, and one of them will still be open. I don't care about all the other stuff. They're good. I got the Jets in as well. I like the Jets. They might be the 6th or 7th seed, whatever. And I hate to as well. I got to take the Chargers. I got to.
I know. Looking at the schedule starts to make me think. Yeah, exactly. Looking at the schedule starts to make me feel less confident about the Bengals. I'll stick with it just to keep the difference. But yeah, geez, the Chargers get to play 49ers relatively, like not easy, but easier than some of the stuff in the Bengals. They get to play the Cardinals, the Raiders, the Colts, the Titans, the Broncos, the Rams.
Oh yeah.
That's most of those are winnable to like heavily favored. So yeah, I think, you know what, because it's that I want to disagree with you, but because it's that easy, I think I'm going to take the Chargers. I'm going to switch my Bengals to Chargers. I didn't realize it was that level of like strength of schedule difference. I think the Bengals are the better team, I would still say, even with everything, but I'm going to take the Chargers because of that schedule stuff I hadn't quite looked at, and you yeah.
Hey, fair enough. Okay, so now we're going to get into the actual pick, who you like for the championship games, who you are sending to the Super Bowl, and who's winning the Super Bowl. This is it now. The only time we're doing this again when the playoffs start. Don't worry, we're doing this again when the playoffs start, but this is the last before the playoffs picks that we get. So, and this is what the back half of the season is going to be built on, is us harassing each other about, you took the Titans, in the Super Bowl, and now they might not even make the playoffs, whatever it is. Sorry, Titans. But so do you want to start, or you want me to start? Because I got mine ready.
I'll start because I want to be the hot take artist. No,
okay.
Do you want them all, or do you just want like are we still going to do one at a time here?
Yeah, let's still AFC, NFC, Super Bowl.
I see. Okay.
So you go NFC, I go NFC, then
Wait. You go first. I'm gonna follow your lead. I'm real confused.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with the AFC.
I'm having a stroke.
This is the easy one for me. Although I like other teams, I'm going to say, just throw it out there, I like the Ravens, and I like Miami a lot. I really do. I see Miami as possibly a better Bengals from last year. I think that they could upset anyone in the AFC. Same thing with the Ravens. On any day, they could upset them. But I am not comfortable picking them as sort of a, an underdog to go to the Super Bowl or the championship game. So I've got Kansas City versus Buffalo in the championship game, easy, and I'm going to take Kansas City there. I'm not comfortable. I'm still not comfortable. I think Buffalo could lose before the championship game. I mean, we've already seen that they've lost to the Jets and Miami close. Now, a little bit of a weird game, I agree. I'm not going to overreact, but between the Jets, Miami,
I know what you're
Ravens, Kansas City, I think Buffalo, I'd be shocked if they get out of the AFC. So I'm going to go ahead and say Kansas City beats Buffalo in the AFC Championship. What do you think? What do you got in the AFC Championship?
I'm gonna take the same matchup, but I think the Bills win it.
Okay.
I think this is his year. This is Josh. This is Josh Allen. Okay, second coming of Christ. Okay, he's gonna descend. He earned this. Okay, he earned this. Okay. It's his turn to win. Mom said it's his turn to play the Xbox.
I'm glad you took Josh Allen and the Bills, because it seems like everybody else has. It seems like everybody else they're on the bandwagon. So you know, I'm not calling you a bandwagon, but I mean, at least you can sort of channel all of that in on the podcast for me to go at, and then you can take, you can shoot it back at me. You can say,
I can set up set up the targets so you can just go pow pow pow.
Right, exactly. Or you can just be right, which you very well might be. So, NFC.
Do you want to go first?
I'll go first. Here's my spicy take. We got Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game. This might be their first loss. I don't know. Who's to say? But I think that they will lose to the team that has not let me down this season. The Seattle Seahawks. I'm taking the Seattle Seahawks to go to the Super Bowl. Why? Why, might you ask? Okay, yeah. I am slightly concerned that they've dropped some games to some suspect opponents. But, a loss to the Falcons. That one's the bad one. Yeah. The 4-touchdown run, that one's the bad one. But a Falcons loss is not looking that bad anymore. I mean, they might be a playoff team.
Yeah.
And so I just see it all coming together. Pete Carroll, long-term head coach. He knows what he's doing. He's got a system. Young guys basically all over on the offensive line, in the secondary and linebacker. All these rookies, they're making these big differences. Huge draft class that is
super easy schedule as well. They got the Bucks, the Raiders, the Rams twice, the Panthers. And I mean, they've got like 49ers, Jets, Chiefs. Those are playoff teams, we've said, but 49ers, Jets, I don't think are the same type of playoff team. So
right, and Geno. Sorry, continue. I mean, come on, Geno's top 5 QB in the league. There's nothing else I can say. Is I don't have to qualify anymore. It's just a fact. We're seeing it. We're watching it happen.
We're witnessing it.
I rewatched the episode 2, and as early as episode 2 of this podcast, before the season even started, I was saying Seattle's going to be better than everyone thinks. I know I didn't say that they were going to be a playoff team, but I said Geno,
better.
He can play good. I've seen him play good in prime time as a backup. He's going to come in and make, he's going to make throws. He's going to be fine, and he's better than I even thought. It's just everything's right. I don't know. Everything is right. And like I said, I've been saying it for all season, and they really haven't let me down. I'm going with Seattle in the Super Bowl. What do you got in the NFC Championship game?
Oh, geez. I want to give such a spicy take. I want to give such a spicy take.
Come on.
But it's so dumb. I'm trying to do the mental math. If there's a way I can fit the Cowboys into the NFC Championship game. How does that work? If I feel like they're like a 6 seed. I feel like they'll be like the 6 seed, which means they're going to play. That means they're going to play the 3 seed. I think the Seahawks will be the 3 seed. Probably. They could be the 2 seed. I think the Eagles are definitely in. Whether they win or lose, I have to think about that. I still don't fully know it. The thing is, I think I'm tempted to take the same matchup as you, Eagles Seahawks as well. And again, countering you and saying Eagles win.
Okay.
I think that's what I'm going to say. I think other than that, the Vikings have a good record. They've been looking good, but we're going to see the next couple of weeks. They have some tough matchups ahead. We're going to see what they look after those. If they win the next couple matchups, then, I'm a dummy. We're dummies, whatever. Should have put the Vikings there. But as of right now, I think I take the Seahawks as that second team in the NFC, who I was trying to do the mental math. Oh, do I think the Cowboys match up well against them? And could potentially there be like a matchup, like not a matchup, but like, could the cards, when you roll the dice, they all roll. Could everything settle in a way that is beneficial to a team like the Cowboys, beneficial to one of the teams that we don't have as highly? I think potentially, but I'd have to really think, do I think the Cowboys somehow outmatch up the Seahawks? I don't think so. So I'm taking the Seahawks.
No,
I do think the Eagles make it. I do think the Eagles win though. I think the Eagles go to the Super Bowl.
Okay, so that would mean that I have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. You have the Bills versus the Bills
and the Eagles.
So for me, I got unfortunately
you definitely have a spice. Yours is definitely nicer having the Seahawks on there, but
yeah, it's spicy. I mean, it's probably going to be a bad take, but
spicy. That's what I mean. Yeah,
I'm going to take it all the way and then stop. Okay, I'm going to go all the way and then stop. Kansas City beats the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, but I think it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a good game.
I'm going to say if it comes down to that, I would take if that ends up being what it is, assuming there's no catastrophic injuries anywhere, knock on wood, anything crazy happen. If it gets to that point, if I were to call your matchup as well, if we were to take that and I were to call yours, I would take the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks make it there. They're going all the way.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
I think if they're going to make it there, there you go.
Miracle team. I listen.
Even just cold. It's for the story. Imagine that's it's not like Kurt Warner level storyline. He's going from bagging groceries to winning a Super Bowl. It's not like that level storyline, but it's like a pretty big storyline.
Right. Say. I mean, it's like the Philadelphia
and it just
Nick Foles
it's the fates. Yeah, exactly. It's like the Nick Foles. Yeah, exactly. But
so who do you got? Philadelphia or the Bills?
Philadelphia. It's his turn, Jared. It's his time, right? How can I deny him? Okay, he's worked so hard. He's such a hard worker. And after the 13 seconds, in the last of AFC divisional game, wasn't even the championship, AFC divisional game. And then, after the coin toss, the cursed coin toss, how could I not say that it is his turn to ascend the Iron Throne? I'm taking the Bills.
There you go. You heard it here first.
I don't want to take the Bills. At this point, I've talked myself into Bills Chiefs, and at that point, I like the Bills more. So,
yeah,
in the AFC, and I don't like the Eagles. I don't like any team. Hot take: all the teams are bad.
Well, you have to pick one.
and I'm picking the Bills. I am going to take the Bills over the Eagles. Definitely thinking that matchup, the Bills win. Maybe definitely is a bit of a strong word, but I do think they win. Yeah.
So I think that between us, we've got in the Super Bowl the Chiefs, the Bills, the Eagles, and the Seahawks, and I bet one of those teams will get in. So we can at least.
I think so. That is probably what 3 of the top 5 teams, maybe depends where you have the Seahawks.
Yeah,
I know some people may have them lower, but
I mean it's a top 3 teams, and then the Seahawks.
Yeah, it's top 3 teams and the Seahawks, and the Seahawks are almost anyone would have them top 10 unless you're. I think you got to be crazy,
right? And I think I also want to point out completely unbiased 710 Sports with Jack and Jared. We've got a Cowboys fan. They're not even they're in the playoffs, but they're not even in the championship game.
This guy doesn't even want to have hope,
Yeah, absolutely not. The Patriots fan took the Bills all the way. I mean, that's just
sadly.
I mean, I didn't even know that was allowed. I thought they might toss you out of the fandom. All right. Well, so now that that's in stone,
Patriots. I mean, I don't know. Patriots could make it. I almost put them in the playoffs. I have to get more. I have to see something at quarterback that feels a bit more inspired, or not just quarterback. Part of it's the off. Do I turn around and maybe I turn it? Patriots could make. I'm not changing it again because I'm not a Dumbo. We've been on this long enough, but I would not be shocked if the Patriots make the playoffs. David Andrews, who's been out at center, has had some. I think that's had some catastrophic effects on the O-line play. Cole Strange has had to be benched 2 games in a row because, and in large part, many people are saying is because losing David Andrews is the heart. He calls the blocks. He's a giant part of that at center. Losing that kind of that keystone, whatever there's a phrase for it, like on an arch, losing that centerpiece, I think is a pretty big loss. But it's only quote unquote only a concussion. Which means he'll probably be back later in the season. Obviously, bad for him long term.
Tomorrow,
Yeah, bad for him long term. But in terms of being back in the season, and the Patriots have to give a bye week. They do have a bye week. They don't play till Sunday, November 20th, and it's against the Jets. Patriots could very well be a playoff team. That's what I'll say. That's the one. Maybe it's a homer take, but that's the one thing I'll say. I think Patriots could I would not be shocked. I would put at least 50% odds on them being a playoff team. I mean, at least that's a strong word. I'd put 50% odds on them making playoffs.
Hey, they got a chance. I agree that they
I had to get one one sort of Patriots taken.
It's gonna be a dogfight for that
Yeah.
7th seed.
Yeah.
So now we've gone long for you, but we are going to do picks very quickly.
We are going to do picks. Quick picks.
Quick picks. Here we go.
Gotta get the fastest one.
Yes, we got to get picks in because we got to do Eagles Watch, our favorite segment, where we watch. We go on Eagles Watch to see if they will lose this week. If we think they're going to lose, then we'll talk about it. If we don't think they're going to lose, then we'll just move on. All right. So as we go, Eagles Watch, Jack. One, basically say yes or no. Will they lose? Ready?
Oh, they're playing the Commanders. They're 11-point favorites, by the way.
Yes, there you go.
Yes,
that would be important to know. Yes. So yeah, will they lose this week against the Commanders on Monday Night Football? 1, 2, 3. No. There you go. Perfect.
Might be out of sync there. No.
Next game, Bucks versus Seahawks, 9:30 a.m. in Germany. First ever game the NFL's ever played in Germany. Who you got, Jack?
I've got the Seahawks. I think they're just a better team. They've just been playing better. It's got to be tough for them going all the way from Seattle to Germany. That's a long flight, but I think they're just the better team. I mean, pretty much just generally. I think offensively, defensively, dare I say quarterback play, so on. Dare I say it? No, but I think just all sides of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a long flight to Germany, but I'll tell you what, it's going to be a fun and wild flight back for Seattle because they are going to be celebrating.
They'll be doing high knees in that plane.
Exactly.
Whole ride back.
So Vikings at Bills at 1:00. This is maybe our best matchup against teams with combined. They only got 3 losses on the season. So who you got? Vikings at Bills. This is a tough one.
I think that I'm going to take. I just took the Bills. I think if Josh Allen plays, I take the Bills. If Case Keenum plays, I take the Vikings. That's how I'm going to put it. I know it's not. I don't think it's definite yet. I don't know if it's definite yet who plays. But if Josh Allen plays, then I definitely take the Bills. Probably to cover too. Whatever DraftKings right now says Bills -5.5. I'm not sure. What that what the scenario. I don't know who's playing, but I'll say it again. With Josh Allen, I think they win because I think he's such a big part of the team. If they don't have him, I think the Vikings win.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bills. I'm going to assume that Josh Allen's playing, but it's an excellent point. I forgot that he's sort of questionable or he's got the injury thing.
Yeah,
they haven't said anything about it right now. But basically, I'm going to take the Bills coming off of a loss to the Jets. I just think that they're going to bounce back, so I like the Bills here.
Yeah.
And the Vikings are having too much fun. Kirk Cousins is on the plane shirtless. It's awesome. I love the energy.
Dripped down to his knees.
Kirk Cousins, he's come a long way, man. So and then finally Chargers at 49ers on Sunday Night Football. What do we got here?
Oh, I mean, pretty good game, frankly, for a primetime game. Some of the ones this season have been questionable. I'm going to take – it's Chargers at 49ers. I'm going to take the 49ers. I'm going to take the 49ers because I think they're better than their 4-4 record. I guess he says reluctantly. I'm going to take 49ers. I think the Chargers have not looked super good even at some of their wins. Whereas the 49ers came off a pretty big win last week, whichever week, and even their loss to the Chiefs, I'll write that one off too. I'm gonna write that one off. Chuck it up to. I'm having a stroke.
Chalk it up, yeah.
Whatever. I'm gonna blame that on some excuse like it was CMC's first week, or the Chiefs are just a really really good team. So that's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to go with. And I'm going to say the 49ers win because I think they're better. I say reluctantly.
Yeah, so I think that these are two teams that are super overhyped. If they weren't, I would probably like them both better, but I don't like either of them. I'm going to take the Chargers just for the sake of we had all the same picks pretty much.
Yeah.
I'll take the Chargers on Sunday night.
According right now, DraftKings says not sponsored. Says 49ers are 7-point favorites, so that is a pretty big spread.
Yeah,
So,
definitely, I would take
yeah.
the points with that one. But yeah, okay. And so to wrap up the episode, stats question. Exactly. We have missed the stats question last week. We because we had 2 podcasts. It was very busy.
Yeah.
So we're gonna quickly do our stats question to end the episode. If you're still with us, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're doing that on YouTube, if you are watching, make sure like, subscribe, so you get our content in your feed. And if you're listening, then you can check out our YouTube. You can also make sure that you're following us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But thank you, obviously,
and
if you hear this.
Definitely recommend, even personally. I one thing I very much enjoy doing is going back and watching over some of our segments, because on YouTube we have some our good friend of the podcast, Jared here. I'm going to say good friend, co-host here with me, edits some of the podcasts down a bit, like post the full videos, but also will edit out segments. So like when we do those picks, or when we do that whole Colts segment, stuff like that.
That's going to be, you're going to get a separate video of that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Separate video. And it's nice because it's more like a 12-minute video about one topic. I often will go back and watch some of those, but other than
there you go. See, I'm trying to do it for the people, but I'm also doing it for Jack. Jack likes watching us, and to be fair, I also like watching us. So
it's more like the older takes. I don't like doing it like you post, like a video is posted 2 days after we record, like that. I don't need as much, but it's interesting to see like our thoughts when Christian McCaffrey was first traded, stuff like that.
You're right. I'm just harassing you, Jack. You want to start with the stats question? I'm always 3.5 to 2.5.
Whenever we get to the stats question, it always breaks down a bit. We start just rambling. I'm gonna do this because I saw it recently. Something made me think of this. Don't know what it was. But I thought of this. There are 3 quarterbacks. No, sorry. There are 8 quarterbacks tied for the most passing touchdowns in one game, with 7 touchdowns. Of those 8 quarterbacks, 3 of them had their game after the year 1970. So what I'm saying is 5 of them we're not going to look at. That's like before 1970. I'm not going to expect you to know who Adrian Burke is, because I don't know who Adrian Burke is. Or Sid Luckman back in 1943. So we're not looking at those. We're looking at 3 games that have happened post 1970, where a quarterback is thrown for 7 or more touchdowns. Actually, 7 in this case, not 7 or more. My question for you is, who are those 3 quarterbacks? And I have multiple hints of varying levels that I'm happy to share. Keep in mind, I would not be asking this question if these were like random dudes. It's not like one of these guys isn't Mike White, or a Mike White of some era. It's not anything like that. These are 3 guys who I'm confident, I'm 110% confident and who you might have in mind if I were to say, who's a quarterback who threw for a bunch of touchdown passes, blank. It's that sort of. And if you want I have other hints. I have other hints I could load up that I have prepared, which I'm more than willing to. We wouldn't dock points. There's nothing like that.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask first if you just happen to know it off the top of your head.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm getting really frustrated because I was watching the games this weekend, and I pulled Jack. I swear to God, I pulled this up. I pulled this up because
then it must have been because
it was because of Joe Mixon. Because Joe Mixon, he scored 5 TDs in the game, but he scored 4 in the first half. He had 4 touchdowns in the first half, and I remember saying to my girlfriend, I said, "Man, he could get 8 touchdowns. No one's ever scored 8 touchdowns in a game." So I started looking that up, and I'm pretty sure that I looked at non-quarterbacks, but I think I went and looked at quarterbacks as well. And I know that like Nick Foles has thrown 6 TDs in a game, but not 7, I don't think. But I know Peyton Manning is got to be on there. So I'm going to say Peyton Manning for sure. And then you start thinking of the usual suspects, like you said. That it's someone that I would know. So I start thinking of guys who's thrown a lot of TDs, right? Tom Brady, Drew Brees. But then you just start thinking about gunslingers. I think about for some reason, Eli Manning is on a lot of these lists, Phillip Rivers sometimes, But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say Peyton Manning, and someone else I just thought of, Big Ben. I'm going to say Big Ben, the ultimate gunslinger. So I'm going to say Peyton Manning, Big Ben. And do I think that Tom Brady has scored 7 TDs in a game? I'm going to go ahead and say yes. I think he has. So I'm going to go with the trifecta of the 2000s. Peyton Manning, Big Ben, and Tom Brady. What do we got?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, that is my final answer. That is my final answer.
Sorry. I just wanted to do that. Well, it turns out that my hints would not have helped.
Oh, geez.
Because these are my 2 hints. My 2 hints are going to be all 3 have won Super Bowl MVPs. That was going to be hint number 1.
Okay.
Which I believe Big Ben and Tom Brady have both won Super Bowl MVPs, and Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is correct. I will say the other 2 are incorrect, and I will get to that. That was the first thing I was going to say. The other thing I was going to say was 2 of the 3 names I've heard you mention on this podcast. And you mentioned Peyton Manning, but we've also mentioned Tom Brady, so that would have, again, been 2 out of 3. The correct answer is Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, who I just heard you mention, and Nick Foles.
Was
Nick Foles? He had a 7-touchdown game in 2013
with the Eagles. Yeah,
with the Eagles. So a while back,
wow.
But yes.
Wow, I thought it was 6. I thought it was 6.
Hey, you would think. I think you're thinking Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky had a 6-touchdown game.
Oh, okay. He had a 6-touchdown game. Okay, so. You know what? I mean, I said all the names, but
you said all the names. Yeah.
I talked myself out of. I had Drew Brees written down.
Yeah, I know. I heard you say Drew Brees, and I was like, ooh. I heard you say what? Who was it? Peyton Man? No. I heard you say, oh, Nick Foles. Oh, he got 6, and I was like, yes, yeah, Jared, thank you. There you go, free. Now with one of 3, do we want to get? We can give you a third. We can start breaking it down into thirds. I think so. Like give you 0.33.
I think we just say 0. I think that's a 0. I think that's because I only got.
I think
one,
it'd be funnier.
I mean.
Okay, fine.
But I'm going to give you
my stat tabs.
I'm going to give you an easier question, I think. But no hints.
No hints. Sounds good. Yeah.
So, basically, this week, Tom Brady led that 4th quarter comeback against the Rams, and I saw all over saying, "Hey, he just broke the all-time fourth quarter comebacks." Like in total career-wise,
record, yeah.
And I said, okay, so I looked up that stat, right? It's 43, right? So they say 43 4th quarter comebacks. It's the most by any quarterback. Looked it up. It's not. He's actually tied for first for the most 4th quarter comebacks. And for some reason they were saying he broke it, but he has not. I looked up the stats. I made sure that this one this week counted. It is 43. Accurate, yeah. Basically he's tied at 43 with another quarterback for 4th quarter comebacks. Who is this quarterback?
Oh, geez. I'm thinking when I think 4th quarter comeback, and I'm assuming you don't have to answer this, but I'm going to say my assumption anyway. I'm going to assume this isn't going to be something, say, pre-2000. I'm going to say that's what my mental assumption is going to be, mainly because I don't know too many. So if it is that, then it would be a guess. I'd be guessing at, was it Troy Aikman? He probably didn't play long enough. Is it, whatever. Anyway. Is it Joe Montana? Like I'd just be going down the list of all-time great quarterbacks. So I don't think it's that. I'm going to say, also have to have played in the league for a while, so it can't be anyone too young. 2 quarterbacks spring to my mind immediately as guys who lead 4th quarter things. And I'm going to mentally decide. So there's no reaction or anything. I'm going to go, Jesus, it is 43 is a lot. And he played 22. That means someone had to have outpaced Brady as well, because Brady played so long. So they would have had to outpace him for 4th quarter comebacks. I'm going to go. Can I look up any team records over the years? Is that no?
You just got to guess.
just because it's so. We're going to go with Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford.
Excellent. Eli Manning is also floating in my head. Eli Manning's floating, but I'm going Stafford.
Excellent choice. Matthew Stafford is actually tied for 6th with the only guy before 2000 who played, Johnny Unitas. And then the list goes like this. In fifth with 36 is Drew Brees. In fourth with 37 is Matt Ryan. In third with 41 is Ben Roethlisberger. And tied for first is Tom Brady and Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning.
43.
Should have just went good quarterbacks. Probably makes more sense. I know Stafford. There was a season or two. He had a bit of a reputation for. Sorry, hiccups there. He had a bit of a reputation for fourth quarter comebacks. I figured, like quarterbacks who might be more like on teams who are not as good, like maybe quarterbacks who are actually slightly worse potentially might have more fourth quarter comebacks because their team might be down in the fourth. Exactly. That was part of my rationale, but yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Matthew Stafford's got 34 and he's played 9 less years than Tom Brady. So he could very well get to 43.
Give him 1 a year. Yeah, if I thought Matthew Stafford was going to play till he's 45 or however old he is, but yeah.
But okay, well, that was that.
And the score remains.
And the score remains. So thanks for listening to this extra long part of the pod or version of the podcast here, episode 18. To be fair, it's probably mostly my fault because I want to talk about the Colts for like 15 minutes or maybe longer. We'll see. But this was episode 18 of 710 Sports with
Jack
and Jared. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next week. Like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends. The whole thing. Thanks.